Lads, the Viking brain rot is real. Um, I will be one of the first to tell you that I don't think about Vikings on a regular basis. But a friend of mine uh, is watching The Last Kingdom, and if you don't know about that, it's about Vikings invading early doors England. It's not like incredibly historically accurate, but that's because they're doing things to popularize it for television, right? And also historical accuracy on the concept of an individual is always rough. But also like I've just been thinking about Vikings a lot, lads. Um, Not as like a terribly useful allegory for anything, but like the one fun fact I know about Vikings is that they would oftentimes use bones in the forging of their swords, like animal bones, because they thought the animal bones would impart the power or the strength of the animal used in it, which was introducing carbon into the smithing process, which sort of a lot of people talk about how that was a form of proto steel. I am not a metallurgist nor a blacksmith, so I cannot confirm or deny the efficacy of putting bones into your swords, but also, it is kind of badass to say that I've got a bunch of wolves' bones in my sword. If we are operating under the assumption that, like, it's not in the modern day and you're some asshole who just went out and shot an endangered wolf. So, swings and roundabouts. But yeah. Vikings? What about Vi-Queens? It's good to see you, Techno is. I will be honest, friend. Techno is one of my dear friends, and unfortunately a recipient of just how busy I have been lately. As per me pushing streams back an hour and then also shortening the time on Wednesdays and Thursdays. TechnoWiz sent me a question about Lord of the Rings. I read the question. I tried to process the question. TechnoWiz went back and changed their question so that way they'd be like, it's all resolved. And I was like, okay, I need to add to my list that I need to say that I've seen this and like do something about it. And then I got instantly distracted. And so, hey, TechnoWiz, I saw your question about the elves in The Hobbit. I've got bad news. I do not know or care about The Hobbit very much because it's a little bit too. I don't want to say childlike. I don't want to say immature. I don't want to say for giant babies, goo goo gaga, but The Hobbit. So there you go. This is your confirmation that I've seen the question. Exactly. Thank you, Clare. Thoughts on the Silmarillion? Um, there are a lot of people, I was going to say scholars, I don't know if you can be a scholar in this particular regards, who repudiate the idea that the Silmarillion is actually written by Tolkien, and in fact believe that it is written by his son, who published under his father's name in order to get a little bit more traction and a little bit more eyes on it. Also, gonna be honest with you, the Silmarillion is elf propaganda. Sorry, I hate to be this guy. I know it's a fantasy world. I know that all of the events in Lord of the Rings are sincere and that the elves are sincerely like the inhabitants of Solution 9 and that they are genuinely trying to live their lives. Tolkien elves, like, pinnacle of what I hate about elves. So, yeah. You had two Lord of the Rings scholars as professors in college. That's so funny. It's so funny being an elf hater when you love Ishgard. Ironically, me being an elf hater and in love with Ishgard is a part of how Elish came about. We talked about this a little bit yesterday with regards to the nobles of the sword versus nobles of the mantle, and how nobles of the sword have the L in their names, whereas others don't. Um, I like the elves in Final Fantasy XIV, the Elezen, as they are referred to on the source, are actually fine. The Gridanians are horrifying in terms of a lot of their like interactions and developments, but they're fine overall, right? Like if I see an elf in Final Fantasy XIV, I'm like, okay, they're an elf. If I see an elf in Like if I was a human peasant in the world of Lord of the Rings and I saw an elf, I'd be like, Glorfindel, son of Falfindel, oh, you're so beautiful. Your every movement makes me think of leaves upon the wind. Oh, your beauty and your majesty knows no bounds. And then I would fall to the ground, prostrate myself in front of them, and go, wow, I've been blessed this day to see an elf. And that's why I hate elves, lads. And that's the reason why the Arknians inside of the world of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante are the worst. And like I genuinely, like, this is a part of the problem, is like when someone tells me how I feel about something, nothing is a bigger, like, oh no you didn't, right? Because like the fact of the matter is, it could be true. If I saw an elf who had been alive for 500 years and that elf had been honing themselves to be the pinnacle of whatever physical art they chose to be, I would be blown away. It would be breathtaking. Tolkien is not wrong. But also, fuck you for being alive for 500 years and the only thing that you've done is gotten very good at dancing. Or the wood elves of Tolkien's world. Sorry, actually, I said that I've got some feelings of Lord of the Rings. I forgot that I actually have a lot of feelings about Lord of the Rings. The wood elves are the worst. And obviously we give Legolas a free pass. But like, fucking, if I walk into your elven magic forest, wood elves, I'm sorry that I'm cutting down a tree to build a fucking house. I need that to survive. I'm sorry that you can sing the fucking bows that you need out of the fucking trees. I'm sorry that you can ask the Ents to like feed you and they will fucking bring down the fruit for you. But I'm a human. I need to cut down a tree sometimes. Like, I hate to do this to you, wood elves, but you guys are not cool protectors of the glade for breaking my bones when I step on a twig in the forest. That's just what happens in the forest. Do you do that to every deer that walks in the forest? Anyways. The problem is that the wood elves of Tolkien's world are beautiful and they're lovely and we feel very positively about them. But there is literally a line in The Lord of the Rings where basically Tolkien goes, the elves exact a price. It might actually be The Hobbit. The elves exact a price where they break a bone in the perpetrator's body for every like branch they break underfoot. And I'm like, Tolkien? Bud, don't get me wrong. I love environmentalism. Rah, rah, we love the planet. Buddy, that's not a virtue. That's not a good thing. If I walk anywhere and I step on a branch that is on the floor and I break it with my foot, and then someone runs up to me and stabs my foot and says, forest justice, I'm not gonna go, wow, that's a really cool guy. So anyways, it's fine. We love Tolkien and Lord of the Rings here. It's good to see you, Dream. Sorry, somebody activated and like I'm like a sleeper agent on elf hate. I always forget about it until someone gets me started, and then, oopsie poopsie. But the elves in the Silmarillion are such losers with so much family drama. But the thing, Kitty Beans, is that a part of the problem is that the Silmarillion is still God, I cannot talk about the Silmarillion for an extended period of time. The Silmarillion is a more or less Bible of sort of the events that happened pre sort of modern day in the world of Middle Earth, before, you know, written history is necessarily sort of codified and we have a lot of records and eyes on it, right? And so supposedly, if you accept what the elves say in the Silmarillion, the elves were the first made. They are the longest lived because they're the closest to divinity. And by virtue of them being the closest to divinity, that's the reason why they have been blessed with all of this knowledge and this long life and all this good shit that's happening to them. And I'm like, motherfuckers, listen. I get that you are writing your fan fiction, elves, about what happened in history, but like, calm it down a little bit. Like, I know this is a lot of like me projecting onto the Silmarillion as well. But like the Istari, I think, are a really good representation of this, right? There are the 5 Istari. They're all sort of demigods, for lack of a better phrase. They are divine, but they come to Middle Earth and they come to act out the big elf gods like plan, right? And fucking not a single goddamn elf in the course of Lord of the Rings is like, Gandalf, you are literally fucking divine. What can we do to help? They're all like, oh, sup, Gandalf. And if you accept that the Silmarillion is true, then the elves should not behave like that. If you accept the idea that divinity is a discrete concept, you do not do that. Anyways, it's fine. And yes, they've got a lot of family drama, but a part of the problem with the Silmarillion, in my very limited and hostile takeaways, because again, I am a confirmed elf hater, a part of my takeaway from it is that the reason why the elves can get away with airing their dirty laundry like that, for lack of a better phrase, is because the elves still win in the end, right? Like, the elves all get to go to heaven because fuck you, I guess. Like, I truly lose my mind when it comes to the elves of Lord of the Rings. Get good, bro, or just go somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, like, this is the problem. Okay, we can't, I literally cannot get caught up in Lord of the Rings talk. But this is one of the reasons why I'm very uncomfortable with the, like, orcs in Mordor are bad narrative with the Silmarillion. Before the Silmarillion, fine, accept it. No sweat, no problem. Sauron takes the elves and then, like, corrupts them in weird mud vats, and then that turns them into orcs, and so all of the orcs are intrinsically evil. I don't need to think about that. Whatever. It's a fantasy world. No big deal. When you accept the premise of the Silmarillion at face value and realize that all of the races of Middle-earth were made by a god in some capacity, suddenly the narrative that all orcs are evil because they were made by the evil god who made them, again, the way that the Silmarillion is written does not leave interpretation for Sauron, evil general of, I can't remember his name, Morag or something, but, like, that's the reason why I don't like the Silmarillion, right? Is, like, accepting Lord of the Rings as the Lord of the Rings trilogy, perfect, fine, easy. Being like, actually, Sauron isn't even the big bad and didn't even make the orcs is a lot. But isn't Gandalf actually the bad guy? Oh my god, Techno is actually, I've been sleeper agent activated. We are going to move so fast, I say, freaking half an hour into me screaming about Lord of the Rings. Gandalf is the bad guy. Categorically, irrefutably, I do not think Gandalf is a good person, comma, accepting the Silmarillion. If you do not include the Silmarillion, Gandalf is fine. It's whatever. If you accept the premises that are outlined in the Silmarillion and the concepts of the pantheon, the nature of the gods, the way that everyone should behave, and the nature of free will versus divinity, then Gandalf is literally bad by an outside external god's evaluation. And we gotta move on. Orcs are sexy, they're so good. Not the Lord of the Rings orcs, Wirebone. If we are not accepting the Silmarillion, they're, in my opinion, pretty messed up, but they are, like, they've got a lot of that, like, Viking adjacent energy, so you get it. Mr. Streamer, it's been 10 minutes of this, in case you wanted to know. It's fine. Yeah, but Sauron Yowie, hell yeah. Can we get a stream sometime dedicated to my why Gandalf is the bad guy rant? No, Techno is, here's the thing, Techno is, if you're very good, and I make copious amounts of money so that my time becomes my own, and I don't have to try and come up with a content schedule, yes. but Lord of the Rings. Oh, not a Demise After Dark just for my why Gandalf is the bad guy rant. Okay, last thing, and then we are going to Brante. I promise, for realsies. Y'all, Mordor has no natural resources, and that's a very big problem. For rehabilitation. We're moving on. Goodbye. It's Brante time. And specifically, we are picking it up from Chapter 2, Adolescence. We were helping our brother Stefan. We are helping our brother Stefan do a forbidden romance, and we're getting some, like, special events that are happening, so yeah. Techno is... Oh, weird. It didn't save where we were last. Or maybe it did, and it's just giving us the option to go back through it. Unclear. But yeah, we're back in Brante. We helped our brother Stefan have an illicit affair with a noblewoman of not only higher status, but she was also betrothed, which would have cast the House of Brante and her family into notoriety. I mean, the House of Brante is horrifically in notoriety, but you get it. And this is where we left off last time. An adult question. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. The day is sunny, scorching, and hot. You are sitting in the yard in the shade of a tree, studying books about the twins' great descent. You hear shy, quiet steps. There's no need to look back. You know from the sound that it is Nathan. Your younger brother also sits in the shade of the tree, yet he is quiet. He's not tugging at your clothes this time. That is unusual. He's just sitting by your side, breathing loudly. You okay, Nathan? You tear yourself away from the book and look at your brother. Nathan is deep in thought. He seems uneasy. He's fidgeting with the symbol of the twins, a cross inside a circle, the lash bound around the sword. It is Nathan's pendant. He wears it all the time, but not today. The silence wears on. Nathan takes a deep breath, like he's about to speak, but he does not. His face grows even grimmer. He looks unusually hurt and bitter. At last, Nathan gathers his courage. He takes another breath. His eyes narrow. His hand clutches the encircled cross. Tell me, Elish, the twins, they hate me, don't they? Nathan's voice is quiet, yet firm. The world falls silent around you. Not even a gust of wind can be heard. It is as if everything is waiting for your answer. You look at your brother again, confused. Nathan, the youngest brother, the most unassuming child, he is quiet, obedient, and thoughtful. He has been your responsibility almost since his birth, yet he has never been a burden. Father was always aloof around him, and Mother was too tired to even smile. Even grandfather seemed to avoid Nathan with his scorn. He just treated your little brother like a piece of trash. Never called him by name and always winced at the sight of him. Perhaps because he looks so much like Mother. But is it true that the twin gods had no love for your little brother? Surely they have enough even for little Nathan, do they not? Nathan was born a commoner like you. His lot is suffering. Everyone is tested by the twins before their true death. No one can expect mercy along their path. He was born the youngest child in your family. That is his trial. Should Nathan persevere and bear the burden he was dealt, he shall yet reach the peak of the pillar when his time runs out. There is hope in Nathan's eyes as he looks at you. Guiding others in matters of faith is the clergy's lot. You are no priest, yet you cannot stay quiet. You see his pain, you see his trepidation, and so you will tell him what you think. What you are about to say may be a turning point in his life. We can dispel Nathan's fears. The twins are love for all that exist. Or we can confirm Nathan's fears. Your brother is right. The twins are stern and ruthless. I've got bad news, lads. Alone takes no prisoners. You are quiet for a moment, and then you speak. The twins are stern indeed. They pay no heed to the wishes of men, for they are gods. They have their own vision, and they follow it to guide all people to greatness. But how can the twins guide people when they are not people themselves? I don't know, the twins have always been keen to talk to you and give you secrets. So this is the problem, Ender friend. You are correct. The twins have been keen to talk to us, Elish Brante in this instance, and have been keen to give us, Elish Brante, secrets. Nathan has not gotten anything, right? And that's the problem. If someone comes up to you and says, hey, do the gods hate me? And the gods have come to you, handed you divine revelations, have given you your rebirth, and you've seen the gods, and you've got someone who hasn't. But there is a positive side to this. You do not have to love them either. After all, how can you force yourself to love forces that hate you just for being born? How can you force yourself to love entities that see you as wicked beings that can do nothing but blindly obey their will? For the gods have no mercy indeed, and their law is inhuman. We have to accept it, for it cannot be changed. Very Ishgardian. But when your true death comes, there are two paths open to you. You can be brought to the peak of the shining pillar, or you can be cast down into eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. If you wish for the twins' solace and eternal bliss in the hereafter, submitting to their will is the only way. Nathan hangs on to your every word. The despair on his face is replaced by rage. He leaps to his feet. His fingers ball into fists. A single tear rolls down his reddened cheek. No, that cannot be. It is impossible. You simply cannot be right. The twins are testing me, and they're testing me right now, too. I'm gonna tell Mom you're spreading heresy. Nathan screams these words in your face and runs away, his pendant clenched in his fist instead of around his neck. You turn back to the book with a heavy heart. It always hurts to face the cruelty of this world. Will your younger brother weather the storm? You know his threat means nothing. He will never tell on you. His doubt is too great. Sorry, bud. But if we're not challenging the order of things, I do not think that we can argue that this is a world filled with caring and loving gods. The gods are real. That doesn't mean they're nice. Stefan leaves soon after the trial, alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long time, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Several months go by, and it becomes clear that Grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brante is mostly bedridden now. On some days he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide, Mother locks herself in her chambers, you and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in your rooms. If Grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting, "Oh, nobody heeds the lots anymore. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect. His son betrayed him and let him down." And oh, how the Brante family has lost its honor. Again and again you hear Grandfather knocking at Mother's door, screaming that it is all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs Father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare the children his decline. Father refuses her outright. It is late at night. The hot, dry winds are coming. The house is empty save for you, Nathan, Gloria, Mother, and Grandfather in his bed. Father has left for the capital on business. You are engrossed in the history of the Empire, snapping out of your reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candle and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside your door. You see light in the hallway. Grandfather? What could he want in the middle of the night? You peek into the hallway once he has passed. Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the door to Mother's chambers. He opens the door and walks in. You hear him saying something quietly. Your unease is stronger than your fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words. It's good to see you, people's DM. Top Hat, ooh. You foul commoner! I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin. You and what you have done to Robert and this family. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from tainting this house with my own presence. Why, oh why didn't I do it? Please, Sir Brante, I beg of you. Silence! You will do my bidding! Fire will cleanse all low-born filth from this place. Fire and flame will free Robert from this disgrace. This is for my son's sake, for my son's sake, for my sake. I need to eradicate this low-born filth. The twins, they are calling for me now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I beg of you, please, have mercy. Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over Mother's bed, a lit oil lamp in his hand. Mother is sprawled out on the bed, crying. Please, just let me warn the children, I beg of you, Sir Brante. Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Grandfather turns to look at you. Stay out of this, Elish. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now, and a sinner I am, a sinner. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer for all eternity. Go away. Mother is crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed, driven to madness. His hand shakes as it clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes this has to be done. You're suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for his soul to find salvation? There is no going back now. You have but a moment to act. We cannot stop grandfather. We literally do not have enough willpower. The game will not let us stop him. So we can rescue Nathan and Gloria, or we can let it all happen as grandfather wishes. I want you to know that if Elish was truly an Inquisitor, like if Elish was a true believer of the Ishgardian Orthodox faith, and like in this instance, if he truly believed in the Church of the Twins, whatever that instance takes, I want you to all know we absolutely would let it all happen as grandfather wishes, because obviously he's talking about his eternal soul, right? And besides, Nathan and Gloria haven't died yet. They can just come back. It isn't true death. But I don't think Elish is a true believer. We also hate Grampy. I gotta be real with y'all. If Grampy is condemned to eternal suffering, are we that unhappy with it? Run away and rescue Nathan and Gloria. You run away to wake up your siblings and rescue them from what is to come. Oh, unless fire can kill permanently. Otherwise, why would he try to kill your mom? I think people's DM, the point is that he is delusional and insane, right? It is the end of his life. You turn around and run for your brother and sister. Grandfather's prayers and mother's sobbing drive you to run faster. You wake up Nathan and Gloria and lead them out of their rooms and the house without any explanation. You hear mother's shrill cry of despair from the porch. The second floor window shatters. A body in a nightgown drops to the ground. The second floor window shatters. Oh, wait. And then another cry of despair. An old man's cry. You cover your brother's eyes to hide the sight from him. The second floor of the estate has caught fire. Gloria runs for the neighbors. You take Nathan's hand and go to Tomas's house. Neighbors and servants flock to the house to put out the fire. Together you manage to extinguish the flames before the first floor is engulfed. The second floor, however, has been reduced to ash. You watch Mother's body turn to dust and fly away with the sparks. Nathan is crying. Gloria hugs him and says that everything is fine. Mother will return soon, reborn. Tomas's family gives you refuge for the night. His charred body is taken to the family crypt in the morning. Gregor Brante has died his true death. You go there to look at him. His face is covered by the cloth, hiding its expression. Did Gregor Brante finally find solace at the pillar amongst the flames in his final living moments? Or did he die as he lived, an embittered soul driven mad because he could never truly live by his lot? Either way, life has changed. His burden no longer weighs heavy upon your family. For a moment, you are overcome with rage. Hot tears start rolling down your cheeks. This is it. You will never be able to prove anything to him now. Yeah, fuck off, Gregor. All your future triumphs, all your words of defiance, grandfather will never hear them. He will never see you grow up. You hear a heavy door clang in the corner of the crypt. Out comes Mother, wrapped in a black cape. She is reborn. She looks around in surprise as she leaves the cold stone walls behind, then finally notices you. My son, Nathan, Gloria, what happened to them? You briskly wipe your face and comfort her. No one else died that night. It is hard to speak, like something is clutching at your throat. When your mother sees grandfather's charred remains, she closes her eyes with a deep sigh, then shakes so violently she falls to her knees. Then she starts whispering something. You recognize it. It is a prayer of gratitude to the twins. When she is done, she briskly wipes her face like you did. She looks younger now. Her eyes sparkle. She smiles so brightly and so sincerely. You have not seen her like this for a long, long time. Mother comes closer and pats you on the head, fondly and gently. You rescued your brother and sister, saved them from a lesser death. Thank you, my son. Please remember this. None of this is your fault. This is my final life, and I promise to live it in joy. You hear the snorting of horses outside. Father is back from Eterna. But why would the church hang them? So as far as we are given to believe, Mesphia, the gods of the twin gods of law and love, however we want to necessarily interpret that, also respect the words of the people and the judges. It's a part of the reason why nobles of the mantle pit can be bequeathed, both for military service and also for civic duty. In much the same way that Mother is being reborn in the family crypt, right? That's not because of some outside external magic. I believe it's because, our father literally said, this is my wife by law. And so whenever she gets reincarnated in the family crypt, because that is the law, right? Is that based off of anything real? No, it's all raw speculation and nonsense, but it's the best I got, yeah. There was the rumor that some people died permanently in the mine explosion, and dear friend, it is my speculation that has to do more with gunpowder than it has to do with fire, but it is a good point. Hanging would carry the downside of rezzing on the hanging rope. People's DM, we do have confirmation that's not the case, right? When they die, if it's not a true death, their bodies turn into ash and disappear, and then they get reborn either in a family crypt or in the church. That's what happened to Sophia, remember? So yeah. Gods reborn her in the crypt. Guess she is accepted. I think she's accepted because by law she is accepted, right? I mean, if fire was a true death, why hang instead of burn at the stake? Oh, I see what you're saying, Mesphia, yeah. I figured the mine thing was more, some of them died their true death, not necessarily that it was due to gunpowder. I assumed that it was due to gunpowder, but that might be fair, Mesphia, that there were people who suffered true death in the mines, and that's why that's a scandal. I didn't consider that. We'd only had the one example of that, haven't we? Where the body was literally stomped to bits. We have that, and we have now our mother. So we have two examples. Our mother was burned, but in the course of that happening, her body also evaporated, right? Sophia had no body left over. We haven't seen an example of a whole body turning to ash just yet. Ostensibly, that's what happened to us because we were beaten to death by our father's cane. The idea of someone being beaten to death and then reforming in that exact body does not super jive, right? There's no point in having the body reform at the church if it doesn't also do the dissipating. That's the word. The whole dissipating thing. So yeah. So Gregor Brante is truly dead. Thank God for that. Oh my God, he burned down the house, so we suffer -1 to wealth. Oh my God. +1 to ingenuity, +1 to spirituality. Oh, wow. Okay. Your main argument is that bodies can be carried and interred while the gods make them whole again. That's fair, people's DM. I don't necessarily think so, because I feel like people who occupy that role in society would be a very big deal, and we haven't seen anything like that yet. But that's a fair point, for sure, for sure, for sure. Grandfather's demise, year 1132. Your grandfather, Sir Gregor Brante, left this world forever to meet the twin gods. So we don't have Gloria's secret. And we also don't have Blood Tide. We did not save Sophia. Urgh. We did get the revelation of the tree, though. The night of grandfather's death shook your family to the core. Yet no matter how it happened, your grandfather, Gregor Brante, is dead and will never return. He was a fearful shadow looming over the rest of the family, the Brante patriarch exerting his influence on all the lives below him, and all of you will remember him forever. Father is the new patriarch of the family now, yet he cannot bring himself to sit at the head of the table where Sir Gregor used to preside. Stefan locks himself away in grandfather's bedroom every day. He will not talk to anyone. Gloria and Nathan still jump at every sound that so much as resembles the knocking of his walking stick. Mother spends all day in prayer at the temple. And yet, the house has become calm and quiet with his passing. But there is one more thing that must be done. The final farewell. It weighs heavily upon your soul. The day comes to pay your final respects. Father goes to the tomb alone, save for Stefan, Nathan, and you. I do like the prose of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. I think it's very good. Alone except for 3 people is not alone at all, right? Mother and Gloria stay at home. Only nobles or those who may become nobles may join this ritual. There is a solemn silence as you walk to the crypt. Father is the one who breaks this silence when you finally reach the door of the family crypt. Your grandfather built this crypt, and now he will be the first Brante to remain here in body forever. The first ever noble in our family. It is our duty now to hold the sacrament of flowing blood for Sir Gregor. We will honor his legacy and join him as the founder of the noble Brante dynasty. Stefan perks up at Father's words. His hands still clutch grandfather's sword. Tradition decrees that it must remain in the niche above the owner's sarcophagus. Nathan, on the other hand, looks even more frightened now. Stairs carved of white stone lead you downwards. Deep in the gloom of the crypt atop a pedestal, you see the sarcophagus that holds grandfather's body. Father takes a moment to compose himself before paying his final respects. Gregor Brante, my father, brought our family into nobility through his unshakable will. He was a judge and a loyal servant of the Empire. He served his life as if he had been born a noble, and he never strayed from the path he had chosen. He sought to make the Brante family ennobled by the sword so that our children's children might be of noble birth. The twins know I abided by my father's words all my life, even if I could not obey him every time. Father lets out a bitter chuckle as he says this. Stefan glares at Father, then turns to glare at Nathan, at you. After all, the 2 of you were born of Father's shameful decision to marry a commoner. All of you remember his disastrous passing. He did not die the true death he deserved. Yet we all must know that he fought for the future he believed in, to the very end. and he would be proud to see his family bid him farewell with the sacrament of the nobility. Stefan still glares at father sullenly. His fingers remain clutched around grandfather's sword. Nathan barely pays attention to the words. He looks around with unease, his arms folded across his chest. I really thought Nathan was going to be, like the priest of the family. We'll see how this turns out. Father reaches into his jacket and pulls out a slender dagger, thin and sharp. He takes off his gloves. Watch me carefully, my sons. Make a small cut on the palm of your hand, and let your blood flow into this duct on the wall of the crypt. It will join your grandfather's blood here and flow forever. Then ancestor and progeny will become as one. I don't want to become one with grandfather. We shall enter our family's blood tide and receive grandfather's final blessing, for his blood flows first in our blood tide. He will respond to you. You are part of him, and he is part of you. With a quick motion, grandfather slices his hand and holds the bleeding cut above a small opening in the wall. Then he hands the dagger to Stefan. Stefan cuts his hand without hesitation and does as father did. You receive the dagger next. The dagger handle feels warm. You hesitate for a moment as you look at the palm of your hand. If you participate in this ritual, you will enter the Brante blood tide. You, a low-born commoner child, a child who is still a commoner. I added an extra commoner there, my bad. Are you ready to claim your legacy as a descendant of the nobleman Gregor Brante? The eyes of your father and brothers are upon you. Nathan, the youngest brother, will follow your example. You can be certain of this. We cannot ask for grandfather's blessing! We can give the dagger back, or we can bleed. Well, we bleed. Or, you know what, actually? Hold on. I'll be right back. After a very quick break, you know the score, anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. We try to keep it on the 3-minute side. We will be right back after a word from our advertisement from Twitch, which gives me nickels on the dime. Thanks! Okay, and we're back. Uh, People's DM says he's Googling. Stop him. Actually, we're gonna give the dagger back. That's gonna totally give us the best and most elvish behavior possible. No, we're gonna bleed. Your destiny from the sacrament. Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and rock and roll. You still recall your first sacrament and how you defied the lash. You are Gregor Brante's grandson, and so you deserve to enter his blood tide. Oh boy. Last respects. You remember that fateful day when you were 8, the day when you tried to choose a different lot for yourself. You violated the ritual in the temple, you kissed the sword, and against all odds, you said you had the right to be a nobleman. And now, you must confirm this right. You must join the Brante blood tide. You grasp the dagger firmly, then hold the blade to your skin and quickly drag it across your palm. Drops of your blood fall into the duct, flowing further into the crypt as they combine with the blood of your father and brother. The fresh wound burns on your hand. Hey folks, do not engage in this in the real world. This is a great way for you to transmit blood-borne diseases and pathogens. What are you doing, Elish? Why did you have to take these two along, father? This ritual is for nobles, and you two aren't even noblemen. His eyes meet father's stern gaze. No one is to interrupt the sacrament. Indignant as he is, Stefan falls silent. You hand the dagger to Nathan. Your younger brother hesitates. Father offers him help, but Nathan shakes his head. Finally, he makes a cut, and Nathan's blood joins yours in the duct of the crypt. Uh-oh. The deed is done. It is time to close the sarcophagus. The lid falls into place with a heavy, resonant thud. Then, suddenly, you all freeze as each of you hears your late grandfather speak to you. His voice is loud as it rings in the depths of the crypt, and yet he speaks to each of you separately. So you think yourself my descendant, son of a low-born woman? Very well. Time will tell how much nobility you have within, but know this. I am your ancestor. You are my flesh and blood. I will be watching you always, and my shadow will follow you forever. Do not let me down, boy. Grandfather's voice falls silent. You glance at your father and brothers, astonished. Save for Stefan, everyone else is dumbfounded as well. The ritual is complete. Stefan reverently kisses the grip of grandfather's sword and places it in the alcove above the sarcophagus. Once all is done, you leave the crypt together. Even in death he talks, "Bite me, Grandpa." Cool, fresh wind blows in your face as you return to the surface. Stefan storms off to the carriage, fuming. Father stops halfway to the carriage and hugs Nathan and you briefly. Now, your blood belongs to the dynasty of Sir Gregor Brante as well. So our relationship with our dad goes up. Oh. Okay. Sure. Blood tide. Event has happened. So we're missing Gloria's secret, and that's because we're stupid as a rock. We have not met a girl. All of these people that we've met so far, non-binary or men. Sorry. I hate for this to be the way you find out, but in my book, The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, that's the way it is. And Sophia saved. Impossible to get now. Sophia is hella dead. We aren't that far off of ingenuity. We are at 3, so... We did see a girl once, but didn't get to meet her. Exactly. The fugitive girl is a hell of an opener, by the way. Grandfather's passing and last respects have left a mark on the entire family. His words relayed from the hereafter keep echoing in your mind. You still do your best to avoid the memory of grandfather's last night, and spend more time on the city streets with Tomas and your other classmates. The road by the house reminds you of another clash with death. Sometimes you walk along that road. As you walk along that road, you recall Sophia, the beautiful girl with the wonderful eyes, and the terrifying, thundering hooves. You have not seen Sophia since that fateful day. The children who live nearby say as her parents sent her to a rich Arknian family, the Otons, as a servant. The sun has set. The pillar shines palely in the dark sky. Tomas is ill, so you decide to visit him and tell him the latest news. The streets seem oddly agitated tonight, full of horses, cloaked men, strange faces, and hushed voices. A young nobleman in a heavily embroidered cloak is walking back and forth, clutching at his sword nervously. There is a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He is an Arknian. You overhear voices. Sir Oton, the girl is not at home. We searched the house. Her parents swear she ran away from home too. They claim they wanted to bring her back. Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must, but bring my servant back to me. She's here. Sophia ran away from an Arknian? How can this be? There's only one place on the entire street where a person could hide. The abandoned Moral House, 4 houses away from yours. You head there, doing your best not to attract attention. The lopsided house built of yellow brick has been abandoned for 20 years or so. You remember playing there as a boy. You glimpse a figure inside even before you enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. You would recognize them even after another 4 years. Sophia has grown up. She's almost an adult now and her face is full of fear. She's not the easygoing girl next door that you remember. She finally recognizes you. Oh, it's you, Elish. Be quiet. They're all looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Oton. I might be in for a lesser death here. But I'd rather die than spend another day in their slavery. I'm just a thing to him, just a toy to play with. Sophia winces and closes her mouth as she says this. There is a glint of bright yellow deep in her eyes. I ran to my parents. I told them all about the men I had to serve, and they went and alerted the Otons. They don't want to be the target of their ire, but you aren't going to tip them off alone, are you? The barking and shouting are getting closer. Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before you can answer. One of Oton's servants is so close you can hear his cloak swishing against the ground. He notices something and calls for the others. There are more voices around you now. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. One of them seems particularly snappy, annoyed, and impatient. You've already heard this voice today. If you're in there, girl, you'd be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All will be forgiven, and you will go back where you were. You know it. And if you don't, I'll drag you out by the hair. The hilt of the young Arknian sword bashes at the door. He's about to lose his patience for good. Sophia hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. She glances at you. What will you do? Your heart is racing. Can you act against the Arknian's orders? Do you have the gall to defy the mighty nobleman? So we can try to stop Oton. You will protect your friend, even if you have to defy the young Arknian. We cannot do that. Bring Sophia back to Oton. Woof! The Arknian is within his rights. You will render him a service if you help him capture her. Oh, man! Oh, man! Help Sophia flee. We cannot do that. You lead the fugitive girl through the old cellar and away from the house. We're too stupid. We don't have enough willpower. Hide alone. Things have become too dangerous. You are not able to influence the fate of Sophia. I mean, let's be real. Let's be so abundantly real. The Archnean is not going to review this as a favor. We, a lesser human noble, or no, not even a noble yet, a lesser human commoner, are unveiling to him another human commoner that he already has access to. As far as the Archnean is concerned, this is his favorite plaything, right? But the problem, Clary, with the statement, they'll probably find her regardless, is that probably means that they'll probably find us regardless as well. And that's... Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Sophia. Girl, it's been real and it's been fun. It has not been real fun. Let's see what this does. Sorry, Sophia, we have never met a girl. You pull yourself together and walk slowly to the half-collapsed doorway. Sophia stays behind. The tall young Archnean stares you down, his condescending smile dripping with scorn. Your hand raises to point at Sophia's hiding place. Oton nods, satisfied. Then he steps inside, his fingers on the hilt of his sword. You follow him in tow. A silhouette runs in front of you. Sophia, you hear a high-pitched scream of rage. A golden light blinds you, a flash so bright it rends you from the inside. There's another voice in your head now, booming, screaming, "Halt! Freeze! Drop!" Sophia's a witch. You lose control of your body, your arms and legs. You collapse at the Archnean's feet. Sophia uses this moment of confusion to run past the nobleman and out through the door. Oton steps over you, cursing, and runs after her. You hear noises from the other side of the wall, running, screaming, and orders to give chase. You lie there on a pile of old bricks, completely unable to move. Slowly, the stupor leaves you. Finally, your knees can bend again. You get to your feet, swaying, and walk out of the abandoned house. The young Archnean is standing in the doorway, clutching his head in frustration. So, she's a witch, is she? Well, I'll be. What a fascinating lass. I knew I chose her for a reason. There you are, youngster. So, how did you like your first brush with magic? Tell me your name, and worry not. You have my thanks. You tremble as you introduce yourself to Dorius Oton. You will go far, young Brante. You know your loyalties. You walk back home, lost in thought. Sophia is a witch? You recall how it felt, how her magic bound you by the arms and legs, how it took away all control over your body, how it made you lose the will to move. But that spell, you could sense something personal in the way it struck you. Was it hatred? Yeah, buddy! Obviously she fucking hates you! The runaway girl becomes the talk of your district for an entire week. You overhear that Sophia managed to flee the city. The Otons are furious. After this sudden appearance, she disappears from your life once more. You will not see her again until much, much later. Oh no! Now we have a witch on our case? Now we have to become an inquisitor. After what you did, Sophia realized that the entire world hates her, and she will respond in kind. Well, sayonara, kiddo. Our relationship with Dorius Oten has gone up to +0. Radical. Oh boy! Summer 1133, the blood-stained sermon. Woof. You are about to turn 15, just one step away from adulthood. Mother is acting anxious at dinner today, barely touching her food. You exchange glances with Gloria. She tells you that she wants to go to the tailor. Mother shudders and her hands clench into fists. No. Don't you dare leave home today. I forbid it. That dirty heretic Foetus is preaching his lies under the silver tree today. Twins willing, I don't want you to hear any of that. You and Gloria glance at each other again. Foetus. He is a patriarch, the head of the clergy, throughout the entire province. This is the first time you've heard Mother speak about this like this about a priest, especially such a high-ranking one. Once you leave the dinner table, Gloria comes to your room with a cunning expression on her face, like she's about to play a trick on someone. She has a plan. The two of you should sneak out of the house and go to the silver tree. You simply must hear that sermon for yourself. What's so bad about Patriarch Foetus? Why does Mother hate him so much? You two are grown-ups now. Surely you have the right to know. You agree with your sister. Together, you sneak out from under your mother's watchful eye and hurry to the silver tree. The temple block is full of people from all ranks and estate. There's barely enough room for you to squeeze through the crowd. The crowd has gathered around the very roots of the tree. Gloria suggests that you climb up to the roof of a nearby building so you can hear and see everything better. And not a moment too soon. From the roof, you see a tall, silver-haired priest step onto the platform by the tree, dressed in a common black robe that looks far beneath his rank. Yet he stands like a noble before the crowd. Behind his back is a banner flapping in the wind, the open book. This is the symbol of the new faith, the crowd whispers. The patriarch holds his hands up to the sky, and the entire temple block grows quiet. He begins his sermon, his vibrant voice rolling across the square. Foetus speaks of a great mistake. We entrusted ourselves to the lots as the only way to fulfill divine providence in this world. But for all these years, the will of the twins has been interpreted for us by a single man, Prophet Isatius. The twins are ever watching from atop the shining pillar. Of this we have no doubt. But how can we so blindly believe that we truly follow their will by following the lots? Have we not seen the 3 lots of Isatius fail again and again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives? Have we not seen people change their lot in life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath? Every person born, whether human or Ocnian, lowborn or noble, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. From now on, we will seek the gods and the accords of their own lives, in their own acts in this world, and in their own words as they echo within us. And as we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own. The crowd at the Silver Tree listens to the patriarch's speech in stunned silence. You glance at your sister. Her eyes glisten with tears as she hears Foetus's words. This is something that I genuinely think about regularly. The fact that in Final Fantasy XIV, they have not created a schism between the Orthodox Ishgardian Church and a Reformist Ishgardian Church, diametrically opposed, right? The idea that all of the believers of the Ishgardian, or Orthodox Ishgardian faith went, yeah, that's okay. We found out that the entire foundation of our belief system is a lie, and we're going to continue practicing exactly the way we did before, is an incredible lack of desire on Square Enix's part to engage with that information, which is fine. I don't blame them for that. This is a lot. But also, there are splinter faiths out there. Then, suddenly, a hoarse cry rises from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are going to till the fields and the commoners are going to bear arms? The crowd begins to murmur. The patriarch raises an arm and inhales, ready to answer. An odd figure leaps from the crowd onto the platform. A dirty beggar dressed in rags, a knife flashes in his hands. The blade slices. Blood starts spurting from Foetus's throat. He slumps over and collapses. A dark brown puddle spreads from the platform where he had stood. Gloria clutches her mouth to suppress a shriek. A few moments of stunned silence, then the screams begin. The people are frantic. The temple guard tried to restore order in the crowd, but to no avail. An old woman dressed in an inquisitor's cassock tries in vain to apply pressure to the patriarch's wound. The nobles draw their swords. Dogs are barking. The crowd is pushing and shoving. Children are crying. The entire square by the tree is in chaos. From the roof, you see the moment when people start trampling each other, howling, praying, shouting. Gloria tugs on your sleeve. Time to go. You climb down from the roof and run. You return home without exchanging a word. Mother has been in her room all the while, so no one noticed your absence. Gloria locks herself in her room. You do not discuss the things you have just seen. They are too frightening. But your parents discuss every little detail of the blood-stained sermon over dinner. This is unbelievable! A patriarch murdered in plain sight? The gendarmes and the Archduke's guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without a trace. I can't even imagine a more gruesome crime. Foetus has died a true death, never to return from the hereafter. But how? Why can't the patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins. Such is the way of the world, my child. Once you are granted great power by the twins' will, there is no hope for you to come back, not even after the first of your deaths. Emperors, their powerful vassals, heads of the great Archnean dynasties, patriarchs of the church, none of them are destined to be reborn. The great equalizer that they were talking about, right? And this is sort of the way that I'm sure they're justifying how when you get to the end of the game, if you have all your deaths, you will still die a true death, right? Assassins, we made a great deal, guys. Yeah, apparently. So the more important you are, the less lives you live. Evidently, right? Foetus is gone forever. I fear for his soul. It was lost in doubt. Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? We must pray for the patriarch, children. Let us hope he managed to return to the true old faith before the moment of his passing. But there is little hope for that. So the old faith is suffering. We're getting closer to the new faith. Order has gone down. People are discontent. We are no longer at peace. Tomorrow, you turn 16. According to Imperial law, you will be a full adult. So we did not have matters of the heart. We did not save Sophia, and we did not find out Gloria's secret. Oh. Your time at Sir Tibor's school has ended. You have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel to Eterna tomorrow. Your friend Tomas will go there with you to try his luck in the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervor to be ennobled by the mantle as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows, maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brante in the Blue Book, and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then, Mother speaks to you carefully. There is worry in her eyes. But Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stefan, your firstborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. For him, the path of the priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword. Can we not be a noble and an inquisitor? They have been arguing, oh, of course not, because the nobleman's lot is to lead. The clergy's lot is to interpret the books. Interesting. We've gone too far down this road. Elish would probably continue going down the Inquisitor path, I feel like, but I am curious. It's weird. They have been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never defy the will of a nobleman and her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just don't become a snoot like Stefan, and you'll do just fine. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touched his dinner. When everyone gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Elish. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. Nathan is going to betray us. Nathan is going to be the boy holding the knife over us as he plunges it into our chest at our final moments. You tussle his hair in response. There's no way you can stay now, you say. But when you come home, and you will come home, you'll tell him all your stories and bring him a special present from Eterna. This is it. All your lessons have been learned, all your things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Night is your last night at home before your departure. You walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where Mother used to read you fairy tales, the library where Gloria used to spend all her time, Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions, the backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms, but you hesitate. Mother, Father, Gloria, Nathan. It will be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend your last few hours at home with? We can spend time with Father. We can spend time with Mother. We cannot spend time with Gloria. We can spend time with Nathan. Sure. Let's hang out with dear old Mama. You open the door to Mother's room. She is kneeling in prayer. Her back is to the door. Her whispers pissed off Gloria enough. We did not do a lot of things for Gloria. Some of it was because we simply were too tired to do it. We spent our willpower kind of willy-nilly, actually. You open the door to Mother's room. She is kneeling in prayer, her back is to the door, and her whispers fill the room. She turns around and smiles gently when she hears your footsteps. You want to spend tonight with her before you leave. Mother reaches out to you. Come with me, Elish. There is no need for anybody else to hear us. You walk silently downstairs, enter the empty sitting room, and light the candles. You are so close to the gods, my son. I knew it as soon as you were born. I saw them watching over you closely. Let us pray together, my son. May the twins know you honor their every touch. You stand by Mother's side as she whispers prayer after prayer. First, she offers gratitude for the life and lot you have been granted. Then, a plea to show you your path through the world, for it has no mercy. Next, a promise to heed and obey their every call. There's such fervor in her prayer, such piety. You know for certain, as you pray with her, that the gods will provide for you. They will ensure your path is true, for there is no other way. There's a little bit too much true belief in this, Elish, but that's fine. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip, but you are not tired at all. On the contrary, you feel lucid and clear-headed. Mother embraces you once the prayers are done. My son, life is hard, but it is just, more so for those who follow their lot. Remember, be humble in your words and work hard. Blah. But before you go, Mother removes a pendant with the twins' cross and puts it around your neck. You return to your room and get into bed. You can see the shining pillar from the window, glowing gently against the twilight morning sky. All your worries about the long journey are no more. You feel calm and serene. To be fair, this Elish actually received a vision from the gods. Very fair, the people's TM. Blessed by the gods! Departure from home. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall your childhood spent there, in the nearby yards at your school, and on the winding streets of Anizote. You clashed with the greater world around you and survived. You felt the tinge of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and at the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed first-hand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All of this is yours now, forever. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and the true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace lit by the flickering flame of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your older brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age. And yet, you live on. You have a friend who has been by your side all these years. Tomas taught you many things: how to take a hit, how to keep your word, and how to remain true to your own self. That is not any of Elish. You have not described Elish in a single word there. And now Tomas is walking to the same carriage as you are, with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion, for the time being. Yep. Ahead of you is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? End of adolescence. So we missed Gloria's secret. We have no idea. We're too stupid. And we missed Sophia's stuff. Elish just needed a Tomas. No! Could you imagine? So we are noble. This affects your chances of becoming a noble of the mantle and future skills that are crucial for the noble estate. We have a little bit of ingenuity. We're bright. representing how quick-witted you are and how skillfully you can manipulate a situation to your own end. It affects your ability to survive without the privileges of nobility and future skills that are crucial for a commoner. Interesting. And then, of course, 7 in spirituality. Your aspiration to unlock the mysteries of creation and explore the divine in the mortal world, the people around you, and yourself. It affects your ability to become a priest and future skills crucial for the clergy. Man. Wildly kinda Elish core. Got -5 willpower. We are always tired. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Now we are in our youth.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
Chapter 3. Youth. God, I do not want to see what years they would include to count youth. The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and wave goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Tomas's younger brother in tow, tears glistening in their eyes. Aww. It hurts to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. You have often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stefan. It is a city that surpasses Anazote enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. But what is it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there, and where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anazote. Somewhere within them is the old fortress you and Tomas built together out of old wooden planks, now left to the care of your younger brothers. You two are adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble, now abandoned, or perhaps your brothers will continue what you started. Who knows? You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from street antics, fingers stained with ink. Ink-stained fingers? Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you can feel its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish a different future for you. But they are behind you now, in Anazote. From this point on, only you will decide which road you will take. This is the journey you prepared for throughout your entire childhood. Ahead of you lie many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and your place in society. Oh shit, okay, sure. New personal qualities. Personal qualities in adulthood. There's some of the qualities you gain in childhood and adolescence. For most skill checks, you'll need a value between 10 and 16. Values 17 to 19 are required for rare and especially difficult choices. Maximum value 20 only gives you a chance for one extraordinary deed. So we've got promising diplomacy. Oh, we're naive in terms of our manipulation. Most important to the conspirator. Yeah. Theology. Most important to the inquisitor. Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. Determination, nobility, valor, weak in battle. No! We are weak! Our arms weak, Mom Spaghetti! Determination and ingenuity comes into scheming. We are inexperienced. Spirituality, determination, eloquence. Clear speech, sure. Damn, okay. So we really said we're all in on the Inquisitor shit, huh? Life paths, path of the lotless, path of the priest, path of the nobleman, true death. Holy shit. Are we surprised? We did have 2 notable bad magic encounters. Well, you know. Personal events. Alice's rescue, collapse of the Lotless at large, bond of friendship, Shield of the new faith. Shield of the old faith. Oh no. Victory in the tournament. We are not getting victory in the tournament. That's for goddamn sure. This is... Oh, this is rough. Hang on, did that one friendship one have rings? Yeah, bonds of friendship. You and Tomas form an unbreakable bond of friendship. Friends. Whoa. Only real friends have friendship rings. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. You and Tomas spend the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road and towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of your many stays at a roadside inn, the two of you even manage to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. Soon, I tell you, soon we'll be there, and I'll earn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy, you'll see, and then nobody's gonna walk all over me like I'm some commoner. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon you're almost at the end of your long journey. You have left behind the arid rocks of Magra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Arknea. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between the Reglata and Talrina rivers, the city is vast. Between Twin Pools and the Coerthus? Oh, wait. No, what is the river called? Swift Run. Between the Swift Run River and the Coerthus River. The city is vast. 3 majestic stone bridges keep its 3 shores interconnected. The Steps of Faith, you say? Smooth stone paves the main city streets. Gilded moldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with marble foundations and intricately trimmed bushes. Hey yo, I'll show you an intricately trimmed bush. On the streets you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Arknean coats of arms, and abundant merchant tents filling the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt on a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you have arrived. Tomas is to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out onto the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then your friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. You are left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They're dressed in well-fitting clothing decorated with gems and golden thread. You are not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are the sounds of music and fountains and the smells of baked bread and garbage drains. You quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. The streetlights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fills the parks. You are all alone with this city, so vast and unfamiliar. You take a look around, determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You see young nobles gathered by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They are about your age. Their clothes are hand-tailored, and the 2 of them bear noble swords. Uh-oh! They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be most helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other as they take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Gert Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you'd better get inside quickly. Then you look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open, and worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. This must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say of the new faith and the preaching and the teachings of Patriarch Photis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in the colors of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They are making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It is an invitation to join them. That's not what a smile means. They turn the corner and walk away, but you can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry and jolly loud fun doesn't sound half bad. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you will remember it for a long time to come. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Visit the great temple of the twins. I feel like run after the students will give us back willpower, which is not bad, but we'll catch you, Wirebone. True, we could use some energy. Should we run after the gaggle students and join in their merriment? What would Elish do? I mean, what Elish would actually do is meet the noble youth. But I don't know that that would go well with this particular instance. Yeah, feel like Elish would meet the noble kids exactly. The divergence is only getting wider. The problem is that it feels like we are not going to go down the nobility route, right? Which is yet again another distinction between Ishgard and obviously the Arknian Empire, right? But like a part of the problem is that ostensibly, if we choose the path of the priest, we lose access to path of the nobleman. Like if I were to go back in time, I would absolutely like knuckle down on the idea of becoming a judge. But I think that is one of the unique things about Ishgard, right? Is that inquisitors are not intrinsically tied to the clergy. They're obviously tied to the faith in part, but that's only because the faith is like the largest institution inside of Ishgard. So I'm going to say it's a real change of fortune, but let's visit the great temple of the twins. You follow the worshippers and barely make it into the overcrowded great temple of the twins. Even this enormous hall of stone is not enough to fit so many people. The commoners' half is absolutely packed. There are no free seats left at all. The crowd is buzzing in anticipation. You hear reverent whispers. The preacher for today's evening service is Father Ulrich, one of the leaders of the punitive branch of the church. A man dressed in a long black cassock and wearing a silver cross appears on a raised platform by the altar. He bears a rolled scroll on his sides, held tight by a silver seal. You try your best to see his face. Chiseled features, sunken cheeks, bald head. Father Ulrich looks at the crowd with his steely eyes, and the hall falls silent. Ye who live in Eterna, I see before me the faces of true believers. We are not united before the twins, yet in our faith in them we are united. The twins are the guiding light in the darkness of our life. The twins are the only incontrovertible truth of this world. So says Esatius in his first book. The twins are law and will and love. That's 3 things, Father Ulrich. But the will is above all. From this will came law, and love too was born from the will. The twins had the will to bring us those 3 gifts, and so the great Archnean Empire came to be. The twins had the will to lead us, and so we are no longer lost in the darkness, now guided by true faith. The twins brought their teachings to us when the Empire was founded, and so they created the very foundations of our lives. The knowledge of the lots, and of the hereafter, and of the paths we must follow in life. This is their legacy and their gift to us. So heed these words. You who are righteous and live by your lot, you shall be brought to the peak of the shining pillar for an eternity of bliss. But you who live in defiance of your lot, you shall endure eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Every soul will face the stern gaze of the twins upon their true death and answer for every misdeed. There is no escape from this judgment. So heed my will, for it is the will of the twins. Follow your lot in life, and follow the words of Esatius, and then you shall reach the peak of the pillar, awaited by our gods. You have heard these words many times, in the temple, in your theology lessons from Mother, in the pages of books, but Father Ulrich's speech reaches far, far deeper. It seeps into the very hidden depths of your soul, breaking, binding you to the will of these words. There is no resisting this will. Father Ulrich is right. There's no task more crucial than living by your lot, so you may face the judgment of the twins in the hereafter. I mean, the Archnean Empire is also not under constant assault by dragons, so there you go. All doubt you had before your visit to the temple is gone. You feel joy at each word spoken by Father Ulrich. The truth was revealed to you all along, yet you allowed it inside you only now. You know the twins are always watching over you, always guiding, always protecting, always judging. The sermon ends in the small hours of the night. The sky is tinted by the pink shade of the coming sunrise, and the shining pillar standing tall against the heavens. You return to your lodgings, prepare all your things for the coming day, and drift off to sleep, free of any fear or doubt. We've got Initiate. We've got Eloquence. Oh no, our willpower has gone down by another 5 points. We're at -10 willpower. We literally can't. Oh no! Well, that being said, Pixie, it's going. Should have played with the kids. I should have played on the playground. Truly, life is tired. Fair enough, Ender Friend. That being said, I will catch you guys in a little bit. You know the drill, 3 to 5 minutes. We try to keep it on the 3-minute side. When we return, more of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. See ya! Thank you for your patience. We're on the final hour of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante today. So we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. We have done a little bit of a deviation from the affairs up until this point. And that's because we are, as always, a big fan of nullifying magic by faith. Smile. Whoa, you made it to the capital. We did. Yeah, DeMarca. It's good to see you. Anyone else want to watch Elish do a solo journaling RPG and overthink every single choice, or is it just you? I have started Thousand Year Old Vampire. I have not ever finished it. And that's in part because finishing Thousand Year Old Vampire is heartbreaking. But yeah, let's rock and roll. You arrived in Eterna, the ancient capital of the blessed Arcanian Empire. We're playing a narrative-focused game that is... I saw someone put the tag on it of visual novel, and then someone got, like, very up in arms about calling it a visual novel on the Steam forum page, which I thought was hilarious. So I do like the idea of calling it a visual novel, yeah. 1,000 years is a very long time. That's true. You have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through the streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the next square. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walks through the square. You notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Photis at the day of his assassination. A crowd immediately gathers around them. Many people are looking at an icon painting on a small pedestal depicting a gray-haired man with glowing green eyes. You recognize that face, the face of the late Patriarch Photis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak with the coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Arcania. He casts his stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to all who live within the sight of the shining pillar. Exactly 1 year ago, we lost Photis, Patriarch of the Magra province, mentor of the new faith. And now he's been martyred! Patriarch Photis was the first to see the books of Isatius for nothing but the words of man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people to seek the path to the gods in their own hearts, instead of blindly following the lots, to seek answer in the lives of the twins and their own hearts rather than the words of priests. Through Patriarch Photis, we were able to see the truth. Through his death, we saw that his words are not heresy. They are the truth that used to be obscured by Isatius' lies. And I now bring good news. Patriarch Junius Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Interesting. Yes, Junius Diamant, an Ocnian from a great dynasty and the Patriarch of Astinia, has joined the new faith himself. And through this, we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day, more and more people hearken to the truth. And one day, the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers. The believers around you bowed their heads in prayer and thanked the twins, not for the lot they were given, as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Photis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Junius Diamant joining the new faith is stunning. If an Archnean from a great dynasty has sided with Fotis' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equal under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly, several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black, with glinting silver on their sides. No one expects the Archnean Inquisition. Inquisitors! They push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests rises before the crowds. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins and by my right as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you're hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. No! The only true path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once. Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even shout angrily, "We want to listen to Luke. He is the Patriarch of Archnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots." Inquisitors, bring those who may yet listen back to their lots, and leave the others to the champions of faith. The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who choose to say. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it into smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He is a humble-looking man of age with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words despite yourself. They're using magic, right? The Inquisitors are also using magic, surely. Or is it just the power of authoritarianism? My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust. But I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say. I see their light in your eyes, the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son? We absolutely should not. We absolutely should not. You feel no malice in the words of Inquisitor Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid you, to guide you away from error, and set you on the path of the true faith. He is a priest, and so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong? Obviously, we would not accept this wholesale. However, between these options, listen to his counsel. At this crossroads in your life, in an unfamiliar city, you honestly need advice. You lower your gaze and ask Father Jeremiah to show you the way and guide you from error and doubt. The Inquisitor smiles and takes your hand. My son, all of us may sometimes stray from the path predetermined by the twins. You are well dressed, yet I presume you are of the common estate, are you not? You nod, and Father Jeremiah sighs. In these difficult times, people of your estate are the ones most tormented by doubt. Your lot is suffering, but not all of you are ready to suffer. Some turn to guile and cunning to avoid it, and they end up in eternity's embrace at the foot of the pillar. Please understand, my son. Your lot requires humility. Suffering is inevitable. So is doubt. Each of them may temper your soul, yet each may also destroy it. But know this, if you have doubts, you are always welcome at the temple. No priest will turn you away in a moment of weakness. This is why we exist, to fortify faith in the hearts of all people, to bring the word of the twins to those who have gone astray. Know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspect of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet. We don't imprison everyone who's a heretic. We just don't have enough prison spaces for them. Arrest or execution is our last resort, reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you orders. You are following your lot by hearing my counsel with humility. With this in mind, consider the following. Did the patriarch speak the truth? We don't imprison everyone suspected of heresy. Some of them die. And dear friend, there is actually there is a place in Coerthas, in the Coerthas Central Highlands, called Witch Drop Point. And unironically, the Ishgardians push people off of Witch Drop Point. If you fall to the bottom and die, that means you were a true good Ishgardian, and so therefore there's no problems. But if you are a heretic who engages in heretic magic, you might use your heretic magic to turn into a dragon and fly away, in which case the Inquisitor normally has a retinue of archers and literal gunmen and will shoot you out of the sky, which is just truly some of the bleakest shit I have ever heard. A successful charm person. Oh, absolutely, Pixie, yeah. You consider this question. Your fascination with Patriarch Luke's speech has vanished. Was it a sermon or a temptation? The Patriarch of Archnia made you doubt your faith in your lot. He made you see darkness and doubt. But all this time, your lot has remained the same as the one you were born with. It is interesting that the Inquisition does not appear to answer to the patriarchs. I wonder, then, who is the head of the Inquisition, right? You fold your hands in prayer and thank the Inquisitor for his counsel. The light of the twins will keep you on their path, and not even a patriarch will be able to intervene. Because, weird. Very strange. Only a new sacrament, and not your will, can change your lot, you explain, and only the Imperial College can lead you to a second sacrament. Your voice starts shaking as you say this. Father Jeremiah notices it. Oh no, is it because we kissed the sword, and we defied our fate? Oh no! Oh wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, sure, nothing new here. This is not the only way, my son. You can always come to the Divine Seminary and become a priest. If you come to the seminary and prove you deserve the lot of the clergy, you will be accepted. I teach there, and I am always happy to see students of considerable talent. Your connection to the twins is strong indeed. Only people such as you have it in them to guide and care for others. The work of a priest is no less important than the work of a judge. You bid farewell to Father Jeremiah. While you were talking, the world around you seemed to vanish. There was just you, him, and the word of the twins. The square is calm now. The Inquisitors are providing counsel to those who remain. Patriarch Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. This is that kind of power, though, that tempts a person, right? The patriarch is ostensibly the head of the faith in this region. Who could tackle that? And subsequently, could an inquisitor theoretically take down a nobleman? You walk back to the lodging house, mulling over Father Jeremiah's words about the seminary. Your family sent you to earn a noble title, but you have an opportunity to become a priest, of the old faith or the new. If you see your destiny in service to the gods, no one has the right to stand in your way. I mean, listen, Pixie, you are 1000% correct, unfortunately, but... The advance of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermons have converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eternia that follow the new canons, with Luke's blessing. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Arknia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Arknia, his every sermon adding to the new faith's flock. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Junius Diamond. Hailing from a great Arknian dynasty, he is the de facto ruler of the Astinia province. Adored by his subject, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Junius Diamond rarely preaches, but people believe the Astinian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the new faith. The schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, who, though thankfully there have been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Photis, it grows stronger by the day. So we're now at schism, and the order is now discontent. The city that never sleeps. The next few weeks pass by in hard work and preparation for the coming entrance exam at the Imperial College. You grow more and more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night you fall asleep while studying another book. When you finally come to, you decide it's high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes you as you stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is beautiful still. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps on the facades of the building are lit. Night descends on the capital. You don't feel like going back to your books tonight. Recently, you made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of nobles of the mantle just like you, sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at the college. You decide to seek them out. Your new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. We have to party. We are so tired. Some speak eagerly of a dueling club where you can see the most skilled and ardent duelers in the Empire doing what they do best. You have never seen professional duelers fight. It must be far more exciting than father's fencing lessons or that fight in the ruins of Anizote. And if luck favors you, perhaps you can even make useful contacts among the noble families in the capital. The others try to convince the rest to take a trip to a certain secret salon. The establishment is expecting a guest tonight, they say, a young lady who speaks about the true state of affairs in the Empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and identity of the mysterious speaker, but the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside the club. However, they can take you there as long as you aren't afraid to learn a dangerous truth. There are others still drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing, they say? Speeches? Nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Markian Society, a gathering for those of common estate but uncommon opinions that offer pleasures for everyone. Pleasures of the palate, pleasures of drink, pleasures of the flesh. Is this not heresy and a crime? Perhaps. And yet some of your newfound friends are eager to go there. In the end, your group splits in three and spends the night as they see fit. What will it be? A contest featuring the best fencers in Eterna, an establishment both mysterious and dangerous? or an encounter with people who defy their lot with audacity. You weigh your options. I guess... Go to the dueling club. You decide to learn from the Empire's best duelists. None of these feel like they are going to make me have more willpower. You know what I mean? You don't think I should ever try to find a young lady, given the single one I've seen? Yeah, fair enough, Ender Friend. So Dueling Club or the Markian Society. You agree to join these people who have traded away the bliss of the hereafter for all the pleasures of life. Go duel, you think? Our dueling is quite bad. Getting a little bit more sort of melee power would not be bad, right? Dueling club would help the family, it's true. Oh, you just got the vibe that a mysterious lady saying truths could be Sophia. Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh my god, Ender Friend, we go there and Sophia blasts us with a magic spell. Genuinely what we deserve. Alright, let's go to the dueling club, sure. Maybe that'll give us some willpower. You march down the street towards the dueling club, which is located in a manor house, decorated rather modestly on the outside, but lavishly on the inside. One of your newfound friends nods to the servants and they let you in. The rooms are stuffy, noisy, and filled with tobacco smoke. The sitting room is enormous. In the center is an arena, a circle with wooden railings. 2 young nobles are fighting there already. You take a glass of wine from a servant and watch the fight from one of the many soft chairs. You cannot bear a sword yet, but nobody says you cannot watch. As soon as a dueler is wounded, the fight ends, but the way they fight still makes the audience gasp and scream in awe. When a dueler is too slow to dodge, the duel ends with a bright red line cut through his sweat-soaked white shirt. The thin fencing swords cut through the air so quickly, you only see glints of flashing steel like lightning in a storm. You do your best to remember all the feints and tricks you see tonight. They will come in handy when you earn your own sword. We will not be earning our own sword. But then a tall Arknian enters the room. He barges in from behind you and leaps into the arena between the 2 fencers, thus ending the duel. He bears a coat of arms with a griffin. This Arknian hails from the great dynasty of Orgriff. The Arknian's voice booms as he challenges everyone in the audience to a duel. He sneers smugly. If you consider yourself nobles, then how about you face an Arknian lord in honorable combat? No one moves. No one dares to step forward. A duel with an Arknian is suicide, especially if that Arknian hails from one of the great dynasties. Such a duel will end with a lesser death at best, or with a true death through trial and execution at worst. Everyone knows the punishment for spilling blue blood. And so, everyone remains silent. Oh my god, because the Arknians have blue skin. Blue blood aristocracy, but also blue blood. The Arknian grins. So humans are cowards, he says. You will never be true nobles if you're never ready to risk a lesser death. Then Arknian honor and tradition is not for you, and war is not your domain either. For human nobles are but a mockery, a gathering of animals dressed to resemble higher beings. A man leaps into the arena. He is tall as a tree. His pockmarked face is white with rage and covered in scars. There are whispers of reverence in the audience. This is Marth Therasti, the owner of the club. He has accepted the challenge for the honor of all human nobles. He has yearned to fight an Arknian all his life. Now is his chance. Dude, you are abso-fucking-lutely going to die. The duelers salute each other, and Sir Therasti begins the attack. A lunge, a jab, another, and then another. The young Arknian deflects each attack like he knows his opponent's every move. Sir Therasti's eyes twitch with tension. The owner of the club lunges again, but the Arknian deflects his sword and rips the weapon out of the human's hands. Marth Therasti looks at the Archaean in confusion, then bows his head in recognition of his defeat. The Orgriff youth flashes a proud, superior grin. His fencing sword lifts the sleeve of his defeated opponent. It bears 3 black marks of lesser death. Now the young Archaean eyes Sir Ferasti with a mockery of sadness and compassion. Why, it appears the poor, over-eager ex-commoner is on his last life. Ferasti shudders. He asks the Orgriff youth to be so kind as to spare his life, nobleman to a nobleman. The Archaean's face grows dark and grim. His sword stabs deep into Ferasti's chest. Then the Orgriff youth speaks, loud enough for everyone to hear. He is the only noble in this hall, he says, and everyone who saw this must forget the dueling club ever existed and leave this place, never to return. The nobles scowl, dress reluctantly, and leave with quiet resentment. No one dares to defy the Archaean openly. The noble gathering disperses outside. You return to your lodging house, lost in thought. Archaeans stand far above humans. They do not care if you are a commoner or a high-ranking noble. In their eyes, you are only a human. It seems there is nothing that can readily oppose Archaean power. They are the masters of this world, and humans are pale reflections of them at best. Okay, +1 valor. The trip to the dueling club ended on a grim note, but you learned a lot from watching Eterna's best duelers in action. You recall their lunges and blocks before you sleep, rather than the master of the dueling club being murdered in cold blood. It be what it be. Yeah, it's not Tomas. You're on your way to the largest library in Eterna to study for your entrance exams. It is right next to the college. The streets are full of people. Everybody is excited. You hesitate for a few seconds, then let your curiosity get the better of you and head towards the place where you will soon study. Before long, you hear the shouting. The great chancellor is about to give a speech about the future of the empire. You cannot possibly miss this. You mix with the crowd, and soon find a convenient place to listen and watch what is about to unfold. On the steps of the college, you see a small tribune guarded by 2 Archaeans armed with swords. This is the first time you've ever seen an Archaean standing guard, let alone 2 of them. The doors of the college open to reveal a stately Archaean surrounded by an honor guard. It is he, Cornelius Tempest, great chancellor of the empire, younger brother to the emperor himself. He heads for the tribune and casts a look over the square. It is full of people in awe and utter silence. Long ago, humans witnessed the Archaeans' arrival. The 2 nations built the empire side by side. The provinces joined us one by one, and Magra was the final province to attain the absolute might and majesty of the blessed Archaean Empire. Yet there was another great event long before that. 1,000 years ago, the twins had graced us with their presence. With their arrival, the twins granted us their will. They showed us their love and their law, and they granted us knowledge of what awaits us in the hereafter. They chose the dynasty of Tempest to rule the empire, and from that day forth our dynasty has ruled this land, ordained by the gods themselves. However, it is our duty to the twins not to seek power for power's sake, but rather to lead the empire to further prosperity. And so the great Imperial Council is soon to review and adopt a new set of laws called the Creed. Under the Creed, all estates will be granted rights. Under the Creed, there will be one law for all Imperial citizens to obey, human or Archaean, from the lowliest commoner to the Emperor himself. The strife among the estates will end. A single law will resolve all of our quarrels. Glory to the Empire. The great chancellor throws his arms into the air. The crowd murmurs and applauds in approval. Cornelius Tempest casts another look over the crowd and leaves. Guys, just pass a law that makes everything good. The crowd disperses. The sounds of agitated discussion are everywhere. Is it true that the Emperor's dynasty seeks to grant equal rights to all estates? What will happen to the Empire then? Uh-oh. It is early morning. You have been awake since sunrise studying. There's a knock at the door. Is it a letter from home or a hotel servant? You open the door and freeze. Stunned. Oh my god, don't make it be Sophia again. Girl, I've got bad news. You did say she would be back? Yeah. Hello, Brante. Before you stands Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She's all grown up now. She looks so different. But you would always recognize those blue eyes, no matter what. You gesture for her to come in. Sophia enters the room, glances around, and sits in an armchair. You eye the girl you used to know as you sit across from her. But the young woman you see now has little in common with the girl you used to know. There is cold steel in the way she looks at things. Her hair is cut short. But what is she doing here? I can explain. I've been living in Eterna for a long time now, ever since I ran from Anizote. I heard the other day that you'd left for the capital to get into the college, so I found you, and here I am. You ask how Sophia learned about your arrival and where you are staying, but she answers your questions with an enigmatic smile. Magic. We'll get to that later. Right now, I want to see how much you've changed since last we saw each other. As for me, I've changed a lot. I'm a whole different person. You look away as you recall your previous encounter, back when Sophia ran away from your Archnean master. From her Archnean master. Sophia chuckles as she continues. Would you like to know what happened next? I traveled through the entire Empire all alone. I had nothing. My journey ended only when I reached this place, the capital, with all its important people and events. This is the heart of the Empire. It's a place where I can make a difference. I've made friends here, found people I can truly call my family. I've even gotten an education of sorts. I have a purpose now. I fight against injustice. I fight against the lots. I fight those who treat our lives like mud on the pavement. And no, I'm not afraid to tell you that. I came to you for a good reason. I need help. I know you. I have faith in your good heart. And besides, this is also about the Imperial College you want to enroll in. Yeah. There is a scholar there by the name of Bartholomew Dextra. He teaches natural sciences at the college. Dextra is an old man, but he's quite progressive. He'll stop at nothing to advance science and acquire new knowledge. As you know, only second-generation nobles or above are allowed to teach at the college. But Dextra, he's a commoner. He forged his patent of nobility to get a position at the college. But the secret chancellery recently learned of this. Dextra is about to face true death for this forgery. But how is that justice? A man wants to teach people, and for this they're going to take all his lives? They're going to punish him for the crime of being born in the wrong estate? It's evil and obscene, and I will not stand for it. Dextra deserves to be rescued. But I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I need your help. You're from a rich family. You're almost a noble. So if you help me get Dextra out of the city, nobody will suspect anything. No one will know. The scholar will live on to continue his research elsewhere, far away from the secret chancellery. Will you help me? You feel perplexed by Sophia's sudden request. She's asking you to break imperial law and undermine the work of the secret chancellery to save this scholar. Rescuing Dextra would be an adventure, but it would also be incredibly dangerous. And besides, Dextra is a fake noble. He resorted to lies and deceit to get his current position. How much does this matter to you? Sophia's blue eyes are studying you, waiting for your reply. Help her. Can't do that. Assuage your guilt. You turn Sophia over to Oton. If you help her now, it will make up for... You turn Sophia over to Oton. If you help her now, it will make up for what you did to her. Can't do that either. Our singular option is refuse. And I'll be honest with y'all, lads, we would have refused anyways. No, you say. You are not going to help Sophia. You are not going to break any laws for her sake. You did not come to the capital for this. Dextra, a fake noble, deserves his fate. He tried to fool the law, the college, and the empire itself. Even a scientific genius must be punished for such forgery and deception. He had a paper that said he was a noble, but only a sacrament can make a person a noble. So Dextra's crime is also an affront to the gods themselves. Sophia leaps to her feet, her eyes burning with wrath, about to shine with yellow light again. You cringe involuntarily. Your law makes slaves of us all. We are born, we live, and we die, all to serve those who were born in a higher estate? Is this the order you want to protect? The fire in Sophia's eyes fades. She suddenly grows silent, then continues calmly. Then so be it. I don't blame you. It's not easy to break these chains when you've been wearing them ever since you were born. They bind you better than any magic. I hope you realize this before our great empire chews you and spits you out. Goodbye. He will not. Sophia leaves. The door shuts behind her. You return to your books. The entrance exam is coming up, and you have to work hard if you want to achieve your goals. A few days later, a newspaper article catches your eye. Bartholomew Dextra, an elderly lecturer at the Imperial College, was arrested while attempting to escape the capital. The scholar was sentenced to breaking on the wheel and subsequent true death for forging a patent of nobility. And so the fake noble suffered in death as he was supposed to suffer in life. Sophia really does not like us. We have gone up in valor and up in diplomacy. Oofa doofa.
I will never forget that day. For it was then that I chose the path I would walk for the rest of my life.
It is interesting that we are called Sir Brante no matter what, right? I wonder if it's referring to Gregor or others. There are only a few days left until the Imperial College entrance exam. History, law, theology. You spend all day reading and rereading the books you brought with you, staying at the Library of Eterna for hours, sometimes until it closes. As the day of the exam approaches, your hands start shaking more and more. And finally, the day comes. A clear sky hangs over Eterna today. The breeze is warm. You dress in your best outfit, a gray jacket and velvet culotte trousers. You comb your hair carefully and polish your boots until they shine. You leave the lodging house and head for the Imperial College. Yeah, and again, I do think it is important to note, right, none of these are the options that we are picking for a myriad of reasons. I do not want to know what Brante would do to us if we were trying to play as ourselves, the human being. This is us specifically sort of inhabiting the role of my sweet boy Elish. Smile, so. Your legs grow heavier with each step. Your anxiety at the fact your fate will be decided today is virtually tearing you apart. The college is a majestic building that looks not unlike a castle. In the square in front of it, you can already see several dozen people, young men, sons of nobles of the mantle like you, waiting for the college's doors to open. Time slows to a crawl. At last, the doors open. A stately man dressed in a professor's mantle appears at the entrance. He is the dean of the college. The students-to-be fall silent as the dean gets ready to deliver his welcoming speech. But the silence is interrupted by heavy footsteps and clanking armor. A squadron of warriors emerged near the college, led by Archnean officers. Their banner bears an image of golden grains. The noble militia of Monia province? What are they doing here? The nobles of Monia form a circle around the college until each warrior moving quietly and precisely until a chain is formed. One of the Archnians is clad in an old-fashioned suit of armor. He is the leader of the militia. He locks the bar on the massive doors of the college into place, then proceeds to the stairs to address the crowd loudly. Commoners, before you stands Agarius of the Monroe dynasty, Archduke of Monia. By my will, the college is hereby closed, and today's entrance exam is cancelled. Your lowly origins make you unfit for the great honor of rendering service to the Empire, a right that ought to be available only to the hereditary nobles of the sword. Okay, interesting text there, but sure, fine. Yeah. The college's reputation has been tarnished. It breeds mock nobles who bear not a trace of noble blood. You belong in the lowly estates, but have forgotten your place. Cornelius Tempest and other traitors to the Empire are indulging you and defacing the institution of the nobility with their lowly interests. A noble lot for those of lowly birth. How can this be? I will not stand for this disintegration of the imperial order. Now turn away from the college this instant and return to the humble trades of your ancestors. Plow your fields, mend your boots, and work and suffer by your lot. If any of you dares to set foot upon these stairs, you will be killed at once. The students-to-be meet this speech with a stunned silence. The crowd in the square is growing, however. The news of the Monian noble militia and the college's closing spreads through the streets like wildfire. More humans join the crowd. College students, commoners, officials who worked hard to be ennobled. Unrest grows around you. You hear people calling to rush Archduke Monrogue's forces, to take control of the college and defend your right to become noble. The Emperor himself gave us this right. We have to fight for it. This is a decisive moment for all of you. The old gentry has challenged you. Will you accept this challenge? In the face of this shameful, illegal act by the Archduke's forces, you may prove that all of you deserve the noble lot. You will need to break through the cordon, get inside the college, and take control of it. The nobles will never dare hurt you if your presence is strong enough. If you're ready to risk it all and fight for your right to the nobility, you will have to lead the charge. People keep coming to the square in the meantime, including students and teachers from the Divine Seminary. The lot of the clergy is to guide others to the right path. When the estates clash, the priests are bound to intervene. The seminary teachers instruct their students to form a line between the noble militia and the outraged crowd. The priests begin telling the warrior nobles and the riotous commoners to return to the preordained divine order lest they provoke the wrath of the gods. The wrath of the gods. As the priests utter these words, the crowd around you disappears. A vision appears before your eyes. The Empire is ablaze. You see burning lands steeped with pain and despair everywhere you look, rivers overflowing to extinguish the burning world. You can tell that soil scorched by such fire will never bear fruit again. That's actually the case with the Magra province, remember. There is no agriculture that can happen there. The gods' given vision demands to be heard, demands to be prophesied to the world. But only a priest may speak to the twins and for the twins. Will you keep it inside, or will you step onto the path the twins have revealed to you? Somebody shoves you in the back, and you snap out of the vision. You turn around to see a small but decisive troop of commoners moving quickly through the crowd. They are led by Sophia. As soon as she sees you, she signals to them to stop. So you're here too, going to rush the college, are you? Can't you see it already? The laws cannot be trusted. They give you the right to study here just to throw you a bone. When the going gets tough, your masters will take it all away. It's time for you to decide. We are the lawless, and we are not putting up with the system any longer. We will fight for a new world. Are you coming with us, or are you going to submit to them? There are students and professors locked inside the college. Who knows how long Monroe will maintain this siege? And what if they start slaughtering people? Neither group of nobles will care what happens to them. We're going to go inside and pull them out. Come with us if you're ready to take control of your own destiny. The tension in the square is palpable, and the situation is about to implode. Students, commoners, nobles of the mantle, followers of the new faith, all of them are gathering their forces to move on the wall of soldiers. They expect the nobles to let them through en masse. Surely they won't start a massacre. The Lotless, led by Sophia, prepare to break through the siege to rescue the people in the college. And all the while, the priests preach peace to both sides of the conflict. The college is your only way into the nobility. Only you can fight for your new lot and fulfill your duty to your family. You could organize an offensive strong enough to get into the college and thus seize your lawful right like a true nobleman. Yet the revelation about the wrath of the gods still pulses in your mind. Once revealed, this vision will take you on a different path. Standing with the priests and preaching what you have just seen, warning all of the dire danger on the path of warring estates, bringing the twins' word to the people and guiding them to salvation. Could this be your new lot? Sophia and the Lotless, they expect you to join their struggle. They are waiting for you to cast off the old ways and the eternal yoke of subservience. If you choose this path, you will not change your lot, and your suffering will continue. But your suffering might just change this world. Yeah, that's great and all. I love the idea of nobility through, like, actually doing what the nobles will not do. But we are absolutely fucking preaching our revelation. Literal divine intervention is quite compelling. The will that guides you now is beyond your own. There is no point in resisting it. The twins speak through you now. You have to follow the will of the twins. You must. You must tell everyone how close they have brought themselves to the point of no return. You walk up the stone stairs, raise your hands, and start speaking loudly. Through the din of the mob, the clanging of steel, and the preaching of priests, your words still reach the ears of the people. There will be a dreadful fire in the city of the Silver Tree. In its flames, the ancient order will be lost forever. The gods' wrath will be upon the empire, and the land shall be soaked with blood. Their judgment will come, followed by the death of all that lives. The last thing the world shall see will be the twins' faces, shedding bloody tears for their beloved creations that have gone astray. Such is the world's fate. Yet it's not too late to change it. As you utter the last words of the revelation, you grow numb and rigid as the vision leaves you. There's a crowd around you now. They heard your every word. They heard the twins speaking through you. A hooded man dressed in a black cassock appears before you. He bears the silver seal of the Inquisition. He is accompanied by two warriors wearing heavy armor, covered in sacred symbols. Seize this pretender! He dares to preach in defiance of his lot! Oh no! They grab you by the wrists, gag you, and throw you in a dark garage. They take you to the Inquisition ward of the Great Temple of the Twins. A week of silence. This is the Inquisition's punishment for laying claim to the lot of the clergy. You are locked in a tiny cell, a small room normally fit for prayers. The inhuman strength you just felt is gone. You are utterly exhausted. The next week is a blur. You lose track of day and night, of dreams and vision and reality, and in those visions and with your eyes you see the silver tree growing through the walls and floor and ceiling of that tiny prayer cell. Then finally, the door opens. They take you outside. Do you think we've just eaten some bad bread? And we're hallucinating all of this? You face a thin priest with a shaved head and a piercing gaze. You recall his face. He was the man who stopped Patriarch Luke's sermon. Good day to you, Brante. My name is Father Ulrich. Your penance is over, and it is a joy to see how you accepted it. Please understand, that penance was for you as a commoner, for such prophecies of warning are the lot of the clergy. But I heard your words there in the square. The twins spoke to their servants through you. You came to the college seeking education and a noble title, yes? Its doors will open soon in no small part due to the efforts of Cornelius Tempest. But that is not your path. What you saw, young Brante, was a revelation. I can see why you had to preach, even in defiance of your lot. But truly understanding the will of the gods is no simple task. It is something you must be taught to do. Your future is at the seminary. I can see you are ready to become a priest. The gods themselves have chosen this path for you. I will keep a close eye on your progress, Elish Brante. You walk out of the Inquisition ward, released. The great bell of the great temple rings, echoing over the capital, and you feel a great union with this sound. It resounds within you. It courses through you. It brings clarity of purpose. Before your mind reacts, your lips are already whispering a prayer. This is it. This is your path. The Divine Seminary is right by the great temple, its doors always open, and you enter those doors. The teachers will test you in several days. Before that day comes, you must live in a prayer cell at the seminary. And thus we start our journey to become the next priest. Alicia's mom is going to be so pleased. Urgh. When the day comes, they put you to the test. A priest examines you on your knowledge of the prayers, the works of Prophet Isatius, and the signs of the Great Descent. In your response, you mention the silver tree in your hometown. You mentioned being at its very roots. Mom being very proud is something, I guess. The final question comes. What brings you here? The wish to see and understand the will and love, and the law of the twins, you reply. The priests nod at your words, satisfied. You are now a student of the Divine Seminary. This is now your new home, and the place where you will prepare to receive your new lot. You will become a priest. By the law of the Empire, you cannot inherit family property or titles. Okay, so nobility and priesthood are distinct. You are to carry the word of the twins into the world, from this moment forth, and until true death takes you to the hereafter. You enroll in the seminary, hoping to become a priest and assume the lot of the clergy. And that, regrettably, lads, is where we're going to go ahead and call it. Thank you guys all so much for being here and for hanging out. I do appreciate everybody watching and enjoying. We are having a great time with The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. Again, as it is always with these things, there's a lot of affectation about your beliefs and your actions, which we just have to accept as a part of the ride. But I hope you guys are still enjoying it, and otherwise, I will catch you guys later. Bye!